and it's sad because I had the Clippers in 7. But watching them play, I felt like that they needed to get a split out of these first 2 games. And then on top of that, the Jazz are winning a game, okay? The Jazz are winning these games without one of their all-stars and Mike Conley. That is disturbing to me. And watching the Clippers play, I said last night when they lost the game before I went to bed, I'm thinking to myself, this is not the Dallas Mavericks. This is the Utah Jazz. This is a team that has been the best team in the NBA all season long, a team that has identity on both ends of the floor. And you cannot afford to have guys like to go against a guy like Donovan Mitchell who has a partner like Jordan Clarkson, and then you have those snipers in Joe Ingles and Bogdanovich, and then Royce O'Neal being a pest with an ankle like Rudy. It's just hard, and I think this series is over. I'm not saying that the Clippers won't win a game or maybe win 2 games or it might go 6, but it's over. Utah is winning this series.
Yeah, their bench is one of the best, I mean, if not the best in the league, and that depth is going to be so important the deeper you get into the playoffs. But when you think about the Clippers and the question marks about them as a championship contender, it starts to me, Perk, with Paul George. And even though he had 27 again, he had 27 points, but 8 of 18, 2 of 6 from downtown, and Donovan Mitchell lit him up in the first quarter. Right after Ty Lue said, we've got to make it more difficult for Donovan Mitchell, literally moments after he says that in the media, he gets lit up. Paul George does. What are you seeing out of PG in the postseason, and is he starting to earn that nickname again?
Well, you know what I've grown to learn, and I didn't came to realization with Paul George. He has made my all NBA. He's first team all NBA. He is who he is. This is who he is, okay? He's not going to elevate his game no more. He's a guy that's going to go 5 for 15 from the field. He's a guy that's going to struggle. He's not an elite defender. I don't know how he got how he got that stamp, but he haven't guarded nobody. So at the end of the day, I came to the conclusion that this is the Paul George, right? He's a guy that's really not a number 2 option. He should never be considered a superstar. This is who he is. So, from here on out, I'm not surprised when Paul George don't come to play. Right now, you know who the Robin is on this team? It's Reggie Jackson. Kawhi Leonard is the Batman, and the Robin is Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson have came up big for this Clippers team. You go back to Game 6, right, against Dallas when Reggie Jackson had 25, when Kawhi Leonard went off and Paul George went 6 for 15. He runs away from the moment. I mean, I just don't want to keep pounding on PG. I mean, you just got to let it sink in and say, okay, this is just who he is. Let's stop having these expectations for him.
The all-NBA, he is who he is team. That's a team we need to get a list of coming up maybe at 8:30. Clippers need Paul George to get in the zone. Get in the zone is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Perk always get on TV talking about what his grandmama say. Well, all of our grandmother and auntie, the great Maya Angelou, says, when they show you who they are, believe them. May God rest her soul. So we're going to leave that there, Perk. Let's get to the other series in the West. Let's get to the other series in the West that I'm just so thrilled about. The Phoenix Suns, Denver Nuggets. Phoenix, they not playing, man. And you and I both, we picked that, Grizzlies squad to upset the Warriors. I'm seeing some of that Grizzlies energy in this Phoenix squad, but they have a tremendous leader and veteran and CP3. I think this team's about to get it done.
Oh, you close out the series, right?
Yeah. Series.
Yeah. I believe that. And you know why? It's because you know what you're going to get out of CP3, right? And you know what you're going to get out of Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder went to the finals last year. But it's the growth of the young players, okay? Like the young dogs, right? They're growing up right before our eyes. They're wiping the Similac off their breath, okay, off their mouth, okay? They're growing up. And you see Devin Booker. He's taking a tremendous leap. You could call him a young superstar. Nobody will be mad at you, right? DeAndre Ayton, we just finished talking about him, how he's developing to a 20-10 guy a night. He's anchoring their defense. You have Mikal Bridges, who's relentless. He's fearless, right? On both ends of the floor. He's not afraid of the moment. Then you have Cameron Payne, A guy that a GM from the Chicago Bulls was basically said that this guy was going to be out the league. This guy wasn't an NBA player. And right now he's coming in off the bench and flourishing well for the Phoenix Suns. They have great leadership, starting with Chris Paul and Jay Crowder, but also Monty Williams, okay? He's a great leader. He has these guys being stars in their role. And then if you want to take it a notch further, look at their front office. Who is their general manager? James Jones, okay? James Jones, we call him champ in the NBA, raised in the Pat Riley culture, won championships with the Heat, won a championship with the Cavs, went to multiple finals. He has the recipe as well. So I'm looking at this team. They play inspiring, winning basketball, agenda-free basketball on the offensive end. Defensively, they're tied on the string. They do a great job of playing boxes and elbows. They help the helper, and I believe that they're going to win this series as well and close this thing out.
It's amazing. Two teams we don't talk about enough. The Jazz and the Suns look like they could be headed to the Western Conference Finals. Perk, we'll catch up with you again in the next hour. Thanks so much as always.
I'm glad to see that the bigs are dominating the game again.
Yeah, that's what next thing I was going to say to you is at least now the first two, though, with the most votes were both centers. Must have been near and dear to your heart. So with that in mind, we asked you to rank the top 5 big men in the NBA today right now. The bigs are a lot different, obviously, than they used to be. Again, Shaq being the last to win MVP back in 2000, so it's been a minute. But we're seeing an evolution in that position. So give us your top 5, starting from 5, of the top 5 big men in the league today.
Number 5.
Well, I love this. Going at number 5, I'm going with Clint Capella, a guy that's out there giving you 15 points and 14 rebounds a night, anchoring the defense for the Atlanta Hawks. At number 4, I'm going with Rudy Gobert, okay? Rudy Gobert, the Defensive Player of the Year, anchoring the defense, doing his thing. You know, the big Frenchman, man, he's handling this business. At number 3, I'm going with Anthony Davis, okay? AD, a generational talent. I know he's been hurt, but when healthy, he has proven to everybody that he could dominate. I know they have Sabonis. He was on my honorable mention. I took him off. And at number 2, I'm going with Joel Embiid, the big Philly. He is a problem, a 275-pound version of Akeem Olajuwon. You can't stop him. Great footwork, great touch. He got mid-range. He got post work, quick spins. He's sneaky athletic, okay, because he can windmill. He's sneaky athletic, take you off the dribble. He does it all. And last but not least, I got the MVP. I'm going with Jokic, the modern-day Larry Bird in the 7-foot body, okay? This guy slows the pace down. I don't get it. Can't hop over a deck of cards. I don't understand how he gets it done, but he gets it done. I'm going with Jokic. That's Big Perk, top 5 big man in the NBA.
I love it. So Jokic plays, he makes you play his speed. You know, they talk about players who have to get, speed up there. He makes you play his speed, and that's what makes him so compelling.
Hey, Perk, so the other day when Jokic kept giving him floaters, runners, I'm like, dude, you're 7-footers serving up a runner floater. Where's DeAndre Ayton in your honorable mention list? Because I feel like he's having a hell of a playoffs. Y'all got to put some respect on the Bohemian.
Yeah, no, he's right there. He's top 10. He's top 10, but, he's still got a lot to prove. We only seen it for a small sample size. Well, I feel like these top 5 bigs that's in my list, they've been doing it for over the whole season, the entire season, and more. So, look, DeAndre Ayton is right there. He's coming right there in the conversation. I believe he'll be an all-star next year, the way that he's developing.
Let me ask you this, though, Perk. So, you got AD at a 5, but, he really want to be the 4 and everything else.
In his mind,
that
he's
does
a 2.
not have a 5 on it. Giannis is not in there. So, to me, you would put Giannis and AD, at least I would, in the same category because neither one really want to be a 5. So, but you don't have Giannis in there at all.
Yep. Yeah, because it said, look, Key, it said top 5 big man. It didn't say top 5 centers. AD is still a big man, but AD, look, Giannis, they have him running more of the point forward, all right, because he brings the ball up a lot. The ball is more in his hands. AD, the ball is not in his hands as much, although he can show you that he have that skill set and push the pill at times and get down the floor because he's so talented and gifted. A lot of times he's involved in what? pick and rolls where he's the screen setter, rolling to the basket, being a lob threat, pick and pops. Or if you want to give it to him on the low block, he give you that work where he can face you up, jab, step backs, crossovers. He got the complete package. So when I put him in that big man conversation and not Giannis, it's because Giannis is like a dual forward, and Anthony Davis is really a power forward that just has the skill set to bring the ball up at times and create for others.
Yeah, and he likes to be out on the perimeter. It's almost like LeBron had to keep reminding him to get into the paint before he had that injury. Let me ask you about Rudy Gobert.
Perks laugh.
It's Rudy Gobert. Now, we were talking nicknames earlier in the show. Stifle Tower is one of my favorite
That's a great
nicknames.
one.
It's such a great nickname for him. He won his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year award. And when you think about him and what he is on a Jazz team that they've been number 1 all year. We don't spend a lot of time talking about them, however, but they just keep on winning. They're doing their thing in the playoffs, now up 2-0 on the Clippers. When you look at Gobert and his impact on what the Jazz can and can't do, but can do on defense against teams, would you look at the Jazz as the team that if you had to put your money on it could beat the Nets in a series, in a 7-game series? Would the Jazz be that first team you would put your money on?
I would.